Hey guys, Simon and Alex here from Top Tennis Training.
And welcome to the 6 tactical pillars of tennis. Now these are things that determine the outcome of a match, how a match is played and the tactics that are used within a match. Now, the first pillar that we're going to discuss is the opponent. When you're playing against an opponent, it's very important to know the kind of player they are, the kind of strengths they have, the weaknesses they have and the kind of game style that they play.
So for instance, you might be playing a left-handed player and you would take advantage that they're a lefty. You might be playing a player who plays like a grinder, makes a lot of balls, and you have to know how to play that player so you can effectively beat them.
Tactical pillar number 2 is knowing yourself as the player. Now this is the reverse of knowing the opponent. This time it's about you, what kind of tactics you like to play, what weaknesses you have, what strengths you have, how do you win points, what's your mindset when you're on the court, how you like to play and how you match up to all different opponents. So it's very important that you know how to protect your weaknesses and then maximize the chance of giving your strength the chance to be used during a point. For example, if I'm playing a player with a big forehand and I have a weaker backhand, for example, knowing that I don't really like playing backhands, I have a bigger forehand myself, but I hate playing backhands, and I come up against an opponent with a big forehand who may be able to exploit it. I need to know the exact way for me to be able to protect my weakness, for him not to be able to hit into my backhand space, and there are many ways that you can do that. At the end of this video, we'll give you the chance to master these elements, whether it's your opponent or mastering your own game and knowing what you should be doing on a tennis court to win points. Pillar number 3 is space. It's very important that you know how to expose your opponent's space during a point situation. You may be able to use more angles, pull them out of position, use a deep ball and then a drop shot.
It's also very important that you protect your own space and move into the right position after you hit specific shots. So a big problem that you'll see a lot of club players struggle is where to recover on depending on the shot that they've hit. Now if you've hit a cross-court shot and you've hit a down the line shot, the recovery position is very different, and it's very important that you know where to recover so that you're in position for the next shot.
Now, there are different point situations that you may develop trying to protect your space. There are a few different point scenarios that you may get into in order to expose the opponent's space and then to protect your own.
Pillar number 4 is time. Now in tennis, who controls time controls play. Now pros find a way to always make time for themselves and take time away from the opponent. They do this by taking the ball on the rise, by hitting good length, by hitting angles and by moving into the right position.
They can also try to maybe hit higher balls and loopier balls to buy themselves time in order to recover to the right positions more effectively.
It's also very important to control time when either building or breaking the opponent's momentum, and this is something that every pro knows how to do effectively in any match situation.
For example, if you are winning and the match is going really easy, you may not want to take huge long breaks and wait for something else to happen. You want to finish the match off quickly, you want to keep going, you want everything to happen quicker. Whereas if you're losing, you may want to change something a little bit, you may want to start playing a little bit slower. Players are noted to take more delays, take toilet breaks, and there's different ways that you can control time when you're winning or when you're losing. It's also important that in between points you don't rush to get to the next point and you actually have enough time to think about how you're going to execute the next point more effectively.
Pillar number 5 is environment.
Now you may play differently depending on the kind of court that you play on, whether you're playing on a grass court, a hard court or a clay court. Different bounces will affect the way that you play and the tactics that you may use on that tennis court. Things like the ball will also make a big difference. Sometimes the balls are a little bit heavier. If it's been raining, the balls may become heavier, soaked with rain. They won't move through the air as fast. You may have to adjust your tactics.
Another thing is altitude. If you're playing at altitude, the ball is going to fly through quicker, so you're obviously going to change your tactics depending at the altitude you're playing on.
The next thing is the weather. For example, playing in the heat can be much more physical, so the better player, if he's fitter, will try to make the points a lot longer, whereas the person who's slightly less fit will try and finish them off earlier and maybe come to the net a lot more and play a more an aggressive game style. Now you can play in the wind, you can play in the rain. There are many different weather situations that you may be forced to deal with, and you should be able to recognize the game situation that you're in and the environment that you're in, and adapt your tactics accordingly. This is something that we're going to help you in our course.
And tactical pillar number 6 is the score.
Now you may be in front in a match, you may be losing, you may be facing a break point or have a break point on the opponent's serve. You need to know which tactics to use. You also need to know how not to feel nervous in those situations and the tricks that you can use in order to give yourself the best chance to win that point.
This could also be when you're trying to close out a match or when the opponent is up a couple of breaks, how to turn a match around by changing the momentum of a match, and this will help you affect the score. So those are the 6 tactical pillars of a tennis match, and this is something that we're going to cover much more in depth inside the course. Now inside the course we've gone through how to beat different types of opponents, and this could be the serve volley player, this could be the net rusher, this could be the player with a big forehand, how to deal with each type of opponent that me and Alex have ever faced, and this is something that we break down inside the course in great depth. Another thing that we'll teach you is how to train effectively using point play situations that are going to deal with each type of opponent and each different situation that you're going to face in a tennis match.
So all the 6 tactical pillars will be covered within our course, so you'll have the best chance of winning a tennis match when you step onto that court. Research shows that 75% of all points are won within the first 3 shots. So having a good serve, return and third shot is very important.
This is something we covered inside the course in great depth, the serve set play. So where to hit the first serve, where to hit the first shot, and how to practice it effectively to build those into weapons.
Now this can be done with opponents of different levels, different ages, and for all recreational and professional players.
These serve set plays is something that pros like Federer, Nadal and Djokovic use match by match, point by point.
And now you can use it too.
Another thing that we cover in the course is tricks from the tour. Now this is something that me and Alex have learned from playing ourselves competitively. Alex obviously played on the ATP Tour and played in 5 Grand Slams, and this is something that most coaches won't be able to teach you, having not played those Grand Slams themselves. Alex is going to go in depth and hopefully give you the edge in your matches. Another thing that we cover in the course is the DNA of tennis. So when to defend, when you're defending, what shot to hit when you're defending, when you're in a neutral position, what you should be doing to try to build that point, and when you're attacking, how to finish off the point. This goes back to the different situations in a match, so the serving, returning, building, trading and finishing points, and also defending when in a point. Knowing which situation you're in is very important, but also knowing what to do in each situation is also very important, and this is something we cover in the course in great depth.
So if you're ready to dominate your opponent and win more tennis matches, then this course is for you. Click the button now and we'll see you inside.